Hello, Primals. So, today I have a message for you that you're the only hope for the future children of this upcoming generation. And I want to start off with a Bible verse from Ephesians 5:11. It says, "And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them." So, with that being said, I want to also state that any minor attracted person I believe to be morally bankrupt, and the insistence upon these ill motives and these ill actions cancels my willingness to participate in any kind of compromise with such a person on this topic. And also, don't play sick for too long, or you might just forget what it's like to be healthy. And so, I also want to read an excerpt from a book called 10 Years of Madness. Now, 10 Years of Madness is a book about the Chinese Revolution in the 1960s and 70s. I understand that a lot of people may not even be aware of what actually happened. And as a matter of fact, I did not even know what was actually going on or the events that led up to that until after I graduated my college degree a couple years back. And so I've been learning about the Russian Revolution and the Bolsheviks, as well as the Chinese Revolution and everything leading up to it. Now, in this book, these are accounts, personal accounts of people that participated or that were in some way involved in the Chinese Revolution in the 1960s and 70s. And in one of these stories, there's a lot of different ones in here. And in one of them, they talk about how children were in a group called the Red Guards. And this was a government-involved organization where children would basically do as Chairman Mao would bid them to do. And there was once in this story in particular, there was once a story about destroying the four olds, is what they called it, is destroying the four olds. And so they were encouraged to destroy anything that believed to be belonging to 1, old ideas, 2, old culture, 3, old customs, and 4, old habits. And in this story, it talks about what they did to these people and how Chairman Mao was able to persuade the children to attack people and elderly people as well in this particular example, and how they ransacked a childless older couple where they were determined to destroy and shatter the glass all over the faces and the buildings that belonged to them, because they, quote unquote, were enemies of the government. Children did this. Now, why am I talking about this particularly? Because this is where we go to next. This is where we're going. If we do not straighten ourselves out and understand that it is morally corrupt to encourage the sexualization of children, it is morally corrupt to encourage children to be angry at people for no reason. It is morally corrupt to encourage children to kill off that which is old, Because if we kill off that which is old, we will forget, and we will not remember who we are and what we're actually here to do. Because what happens when you erase history? When you erase history, it means you get to rewrite it, right? Now, of course, history, I know there's a quote out there that is, history is written by the winners. Now, I think that's true to a degree. However, I also think that understanding that protecting the innocence of children, I do hope, is a value that we can reach as an agreement one day between all political sides. I don't really like talking about politics, to be quite honest. I don't like talking about it at all, but seeing that in this book, it shows that even if you wanted to get away from politics, there was no way you were going to. Once the ideological subversion happened in the society to where politics became the number one goal and number one topic each day. And I mean, the Chinese were brilliant at how they went about this. Because when you convince the children that destroying is right and building is wrong, well, lots of things can happen. Not very good things, but it's kind of like in Pinocchio, where Pinocchio gets taken to what was the Pleasure Island? That's what it is. It's when Pinocchio gets taken to Pleasure Island, right? Now, what happens at Pleasure Island? They play some pool, they smoke some cigars, and then they all turn into asses, right? They all turn into donkeys. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think that's very indicative of the kind of predicament that we're in as a society. And I do believe, and I do think that if we're not careful, we're going to be stuck on Pleasure Island. And we're going to believe in our sickness so much so that we will become the darkness, and we will voluntarily participate in the degradation of society with false joy. And I think that is absolutely repulsive. And so I understand that this is not exactly a super uppity, message. However, I do think that this is valuable, and I do think that if we do not stand for children and the future, then I do think that we're going to lose a lot more than just our capacity to survive. We're going to lose our humane qualities in general. In fact, a lot of people apparently are not even identifying as human anymore. I just learned about this recently, is that they would actually prefer to be called it rather than he or she, right? Like, this is the pronouns thing. Now, if you want to be called it, that's fine. However, I don't think it helps your case very much, and I don't know why you put so much emphasis on the body. I don't know why you put so much emphasis on sexual identifications. I don't understand it. I don't understand why that is your top priority for the day, is to make sure you are called the right pronoun. I don't understand why this is your number one priority. I do have a suspicion, and I will say that I have no other words to describe it other than a satanic agenda. I really don't know how else to describe it. And it saddens me to see these things because I do believe in divine forgiveness, and I do believe in divine. I believe you are a divine being, and that we should embrace our humanity and not only accept our humanity, but embrace our divinity. Because when we embrace our divinity, that is when we are able to have fellowship with something that is higher, that is pure, that is good, and that is true. And I think that is going to be far more meaningful and adventurous than hiding behind any kind of false deceit and false joy. So with that being said, may peace be with you. And I do hope that you have a blessed day. Till next time.